I just wanted to come and make a very quick sort of roundup video of my 2017. I know that's quite self-absorbed and a little bit narcissistic, but it's nice to just be able to acknowledge your achievements, and I think New Year is the best time to be able to do that, like the most socially acceptable time to talk about how good you are, because everybody's doing it. Gonna make the most of that opportunity. For me, this year it's just been very confusing. It's just been a bit of a blur and it's been a bit confusing. I'm not really sure where I stand at the moment, but there have been a few like key parts of this year which I'm just super happy that they happened. So the first thing was I saw Green Day in February. I took my sister for her Christmas present. It was kind of a present to myself as well, because it was just, what? Green Day are one of the artists that I just kind of, I don't know, they're just so much a part of culture and life, like my life and my childhood and growing up. It was just so surreal to see them on stage, and they were so good. I'm not very good at describing things positively, like brilliant, fantastic, amazing, awesome, phenomenal, whatever. They were great. I think it was at the O2, but we were very far back and like the upper tiers, so we were far away, but it was just such a great experience, and I'm just really glad that I got to see them, because they are just one of those bands for me that are kind of like, they're just iconic. And I hate to say this, but at some point they're not going to be touring and performing anymore, so they're sort of like a bucket list band, and I've ticked them off. I'm trying to think who else would be on my list of bands like I've got to see before I die or before they stop touring, and I don't actually know who else is on there. I'll come back to you and maybe make a video on that at some point. The big thing for me this year, it has completely flown by and I'm kind of struggling to see where it's gone, but the big thing I managed to achieve this year was finally passing my driving test. I took driving lessons when I was 17, when I was at college, and it didn't go amazingly well. I got it for my birthday present, which was so lovely of my mum, but I think I just wasn't ready at that time. It wasn't a decision I would have made for myself, but I was appreciative, and it's obviously made it a lot easier now relearning, having already had a lot of lessons. I had about 30 hours, which is the amount of hours a lot of people have before they take their test, and I had about 30 hours of lessons and then stopped for 2 years. The instructor I had then was he just wasn't for me. We didn't really click. He didn't seem to care too much about teaching me. He'd always forget what we'd already done in lessons and stuff like that. We just never learnt anything. In that whole 30 hours, I think I went into 4th gear about 3 times, and we did 1 turn in the road. I think we tried to do 1 bay park, and that's all we did for God knows how much money. I don't want to think about it. When I started learning again, I found a new person, and she was just the most loveliest, kindest, understanding person. I had to explain to her about all my anxiety with travelling and stuff, and how I'd been kind of put off driving by this man I'd had teaching me before. Yeah, it just made me super nervous, but she was very helpful and she was a great teacher. I started learning at Easter. I had a few lessons then, and then over summer I came back home from uni and had like another bunch, and then I took my test in August and passed first time. Learning the second time round, it just clicked with me straight away. It was so much better, and I'm just so glad that I tried again, because I had this such negative experience and I thought I was a bad driver. I just had a bad instructor, and like as soon as I had this new lady, was fine. So passing my driving test, a huge thing for me this year, like is a big thing for anybody, but for me and my issues with travel, it's been so helpful being able to drive. It's like a safety blanket for me now. I'm not saying like I'm never going on public transport again, but it's just nice to have an extra option, which is just in my control. I can go when I want to, I can go home when I want to as well, because another big thing is just like waiting around for public transport. If I was going to a friend's house and having to catch the last bus home, and all this stuff would just be like, my mind would be ticking, and I wouldn't be able to focus on anything else because I was just thinking about transport. But I can drive now. I can't really think. Like obviously I've been doing uni stuff, past my 2nd year, so that's fine. I haven't really got anything interesting or like commendable to talk about in terms of that. I went to a lot of festivals. I did Reading, Download, 2000 Trees, Love Supreme, and I went to a day festival called Always the Sun in Guildford. I actually worked at Reading. I made a whole video about like the festivals I was doing in the summer. I made it before I went to Reading, so I never actually spoke about it, but Reading was cool. I was volunteering for Oxfam, basically just stewarding, so standing there in a high-vis jacket and telling people where to go and what to do. It was quite fun, you know, you got in for free. I think you got food, you got free phone charging, and nicer campsite, staff campsite. It was a first for me, but I'm glad I did it, finally. I've been wanting to volunteer at a festival for a long time. Honestly, like, it's been a pretty uneventful year apart from passing my driving test and seeing Green Day. Like, they are two big things for me, but everything else has just been, like, pretty average. I don't even have, like, any goals for next year or anything. My goal is to graduate, I guess, and hopefully that's just gonna happen. Hopefully I don't have to work too hard to get to that point. Apart from that, I have literally no clue what I'm going to be doing next year, so I'm not going to be setting myself any like resolutions or anything, because I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm a new like chilled out person now. No, I'm not. And there we go anyway. There's my little 2017 roundup. 2018, I have no feelings towards it currently. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to leave this here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.